drought forced California Congressman and rancher John Garamendi to sell a third of his cattle. I asked him what could be done to save the agricultural industry there and why he's getting rid of his livestock.
There's no grass, and the cost of feed is so high that it doesn't pencil out to keep the herd, so it's time to cull the herd, cut it back. That'll have a long-term effect. It'll take us a while to rebuild the herd to what is an appropriate number for the amount of land that we have and for the normal grazing conditions. Not unknown. I mean, this happens all around the world. I was recently with some Ethiopians where drought is known and famine. We don't have a famine, but we clearly have a bad drought in California. It's going to affect everything that goes on in the state.
So
every part of the state will be affected.
How much longer does this drought continue before you'll have to sell out more of your cattle?
Well, we're planning already. We're going through our herd, looking at those animals that we would want to sell. Obviously, you sell your older animals first. Try to keep your young ones as long as possible, and then sell them. I don't think we're ever going to be in a position to have to sell the entire herd. We may reduce it all the way to 50%. It depends upon the rain. We're heavily dependent upon the rain. If it rains in the next week and we don't have a cold spell, well, we may be as far as we have to go. On the other hand, if another month of very little rain and a very cold February, we may sell another 10, 15, 20% of the herd.
You've heard the predictions. If this goes on, the impact on the state of California could be catastrophic and long-lasting, even if you get rain in several months. What do you say to that?
Well, California is a very resilient place. This is actually the third year of a drought, this being the worst of those 3 years. So, yeah, we're deep into it. There have been cutbacks. There's still water supplies available. People are going to cut back. They're going to conserve a lot. And that's agriculture, urban, and homeowners and industry are all going to have to conserve. Some of that will be mandatory. It will have an effect on the economy. But we're resilient. We can and we will come out of this. Even if it doesn't rain, we're simply going to have to learn to stretch the water supplies. And that means conservation. There's technology readily available today from the NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, using satellite technologies and ground sensing devices to save as much as a third of the water that's used on row crops. That's an enormous amount of water. That's maybe 1 million acre-feet of water or more. So we need to be wise, we need to be thoughtful, and we're going to need to pull together as a community, stop fighting, and looking towards cooperative arrangements to share the water that is available and to build the systems that we need for the near term as well as for the future.
In the meantime, we will all be praying for rain for California. Congressman, it's good to see you on the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The president took action today to try to help the agricultural industry adapt to extreme weather conditions.